Find a way down there, but proceed with caution.
Hey everyone, this is Wrecker. Welcome back to another Division 2 build video. So the one that I'm sharing with you guys today is the Hunter's Fury run and gun build. This build is really good when it comes to damage and survivability, and in case you are looking for a really good build for farming, open world activities, control points, or missions. This is a really good build as per my testing. I just wanted to share a template with you guys, what pieces I'm using, what weapons I'm using, so you could guys get some ideas and build one of your own. Now before we begin, please like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. As you guys may be aware of, I'm trying to reach 1000 subs on this channel, and if you haven't already, please do so. Any help is much appreciated. So with that out of the way, let's begin. So starting off with the specialization, we're using Gunner. Bunch of reasons actually, especially for a run and gun build. I think Gunner is the best specialization to go for. So a couple of perks I will go through real quick. So armor kits give you 100% armor and then 30% bonus armor. Then we have third reload is 50% faster. That's 10% armor on kill. A riot foam grenade, that's very helpful. And also this Banshee pulse, which by the way we are using in this particular setup. It only unlocks with this specialization and basically disorients enemies. A couple of more perks that we get from the spec, that's 10% total ammo every 60 seconds for you and 5% for your teammates in case you're playing in a group. Then we have rate of fire increase by 5% after a kill for 5 seconds. And then we have 10% weapon handling while not moving. This may not help us that much, but it's good to have in case you are in cover or not moving. So, moving on. Okay, so starting off with the weapons, primarily I'm using the Apartment SMG. Now this is personal preference, you can use whatever SMG that you like. Some really good alternatives are the Dark Winter and also the Chatterbox that I have tested. But then again, whatever you like you can use. I personally prefer this one because it, as a base number, it has a very high base damage. By the way, this number that you're seeing up top, 143.4k, that's with the memento stacks. But even without the stacks, the numbers are around 127k with this build. So they're not that far off. As for the attributes, 15% SMG damage, 21% crit chance, and 10% damage to targets out of cover, as usual. And then we have the named Perfect Talent, perfectly measured. Top half of the mag gives you 20% rate of fire and negative 27% weapon damage. Bottom half mag gives you negative 10% rate of fire and 33% total weapon damage. Now this bottom half of the magazine hits really hard, so do not try to reload after every kill, because that's what I tend to do, and I think most people do, is that they tend to reload as soon as they're done with the kill. But for this one, you want to make sure you're using, or utilizing the full damage advantage from the bottom half of the magazine. So this is the primary weapon that I'm using. As for the secondary, I'm using the Scorpio. As always, the best weapon that you could use as a backup especially. But with this particular setup, since we're using Hunter's Fury, you can use this as a primary weapon as well, because we are getting bonus damage numbers from the gear set bonus for shotguns as well. So whatever you like, SMGs, Scorpio, or any other shotgun, it works just as good. So for the sidearm, as usual, I'm running the Orbit. For any of the builds that I run, especially red ones with crit hit chance and damage, this is my go-to sidearm because it gives you a huge amount of buffs when it comes to critical hit chance and damage. So you basically have to kill a low health enemy every now and then, and it will give you 35% crit chance and 40% crit hit damage for 15 seconds. That's really good to have. Okay, so starting off with the gear set itself, I'm using 4-piece Hunter's Fury, starting off with the mask. Let's quickly go through the gear set bonuses. 2-piece gives you 15% shotgun damage and SMG damage. 3 pieces give you 20% armor on kill and 100% health on kill. By the way, from the gunner specialization, you get an additional 10% armor on kill. So in total, you're getting 30%. As for the 4-piece talent itself, it's called the Apex Predator. Enemies within 15 meters receive a debuff, amplifying your weapon damage against them by 20%. Killing a debuffed enemy with your weapon disorients other enemies within 5 meters and amplifies weapon damage by 5% for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. So basically you can get up to 25% damage if you are surrounded by 5 enemies, and also amplifying damage is really good, especially for a run and gun build. And as for the attributes, it's all red on all the pieces that I'm running. So weapon damage, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. Again, as a general rule of thumb, keep stacking critical hit chance until you reach at least 50% crit chance, and then you can stack up the critical hit damage from the leftover slots. Again, the gloves, Hunter's Fury, and for this one I'm using in armor core. Now that's personal preference. You can go all reds or maybe add a few more blues, but that depends on your playstyle and what you feel comfortable with. For me, I keep to run, maybe 1 or 2 blues when I'm using a run and gun build, especially like this one. As you can see, I'm at 1.1 million armor. So this is the sweet spot I believe you should at least run at for a tiny bit of survivability, but that's personal preference. If you're gonna go all red or maybe add a few more blues, that's your call. Again, as a minor attribute, I'm running critical hit damage on this one. Same thing for the knee pads, weapon damage, crit hit damage. And lastly, for the holster, same thing, weapon damage, critical hit damage. Now for the backpack, as usual, what better backpack to use than Memento, especially when you're going for a run and gun build. Not only the long-term buff will give you huge amounts of armor regeneration, that's 3% on full stacks, but also the short-term buffs which you get after picking up trophies, which you will be constantly because you will be in the face of the enemies all the time. This is not a build to play in cover, so you will be picking up trophies as you go along. So this is the best backpack I would recommend for. You can use other backpacks. A really good alternative is the named backpack which comes with Bloodsucker. I think Perfect Bloodsucker, but that's also a PvP exclusive backpack. But then again, that's personal preference. I personally want, like to run Memento. As for the chest itself, now it entirely depends on what primary weapon that you want to run. If you're running an SMG, you can go for Sokolov. If you're running a shotgun, you can go for Badger Tough. Now in my case, I'm running an SMG, so I went for Sokolov. Again, all reds, 15% weapon damage, crit chance, and crit hit damage with a mod. For the talent, I went for Obliterate. Obvious reasons, we are critting insane amounts of time, so it's not very difficult to stack up Obliterate. You can stack it in half a mag, as you might have seen in the gameplay. It's very easy to stack, and also you're getting 25% weapon damage on full stacks. So that's a really good talent that I would recommend for this build. You can use other talents, but then again, that's personal preference. Use what you like. Now before I show you guys the stats for the builds, let me go through the skills real quick. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are using the Banshee Pulse. It comes from the gunner specialization. It basically disorients enemies. So it's really good for this build because you will be constantly running into enemies within a close range. So having them disoriented, even though Hunter's Fury does it for you once you kill an enemy, this is very helpful. So I would highly recommend using this particular pulse for this build. Lastly, for my other skill, I'm using the Crusader Shield. Of course, run and gun, it does not complete without a shield. I would recommend, especially when you're not running a huge number of armor. I would highly recommend using a shield because you will be running around 90% of the time, and it's good to have a shield in front of you to protect you from as much incoming damage as you can. So this is a really good build. Also, it also stacks up with the blue armor cores. So on our build, we have 3 in total, 1 skill tier and 2 armor cores, which puts our shield and at tier 3. So that's really good. So for the build stats, we are sitting at 53% critical hit chance and 134% critical hit damage. Now, you can change a few mods around on your weapon or maybe on your gear as far as the mod slots go, but personally I prefer to keep this number: 53% crit chance, 134 crit hit damage, 70% headshot damage. And then if you go down, we do have a tiny bit of weapon handling as well, I think 10%, 85% all weapon damage, and then we have 55% submachine damage and 30% shotgun. And if we go to the defense tab, as you can see, as a general number, we are sitting at 1.1 million armor, 330,000 armor on kill. That's really good. And then we have 350,000 health on kill. Now these are base numbers. These do not include the buffs you will be getting from the memento and also the Hunter's Fury bonuses. So this is it basically as far as the stats go. Okay, so this is the build, everyone. If you have any questions regarding any of the pieces or anything at all, let me know in the comment sections below. I will try my best to answer them as fast as possible. Again, hit like on the video and make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subs on this channel, and any help is much appreciated. So I will see you in the next one. Enjoy the gameplay.
Override required. Progress resumed. Friendly supply convoy in proximity.
They're carrying a ballistic shield!
Amen.